I find myself enjoying the organic flow that the material does, the way it drips out of the furnace, the way a bubble moves when it's so hot that a single split second of misaction will cause it to deflate. At a summer art program, I first saw glass blowing, and I still remember the reaction I had. Glass blowing is such an electric and fascinating thing to see. I began to get a sense that there was a path forward for an artist in the field of glass. There was a path forward for a maker and a designer. My artistic influences derive a lot from some of the classic abstract expressionist painters. Rothko, Nolan, Pollock, a lot of the New York School painters from the 60s and 70s. I am an artist and designer. I make sculptural artwork that is painterly and colorful. My name is Jamie Harris. I work primarily in glass blowing, cast glass. Glass blowing is such a magical process. The glass is hot, it's fluid, it's art, it's dance, it's athletics, teamwork all at once. There's absolutely a meditative aspect to glass making. Part of that has to do with the repetition of motions. It's a highly collaborative, team-based approach in glass making. So there's such a shared vocabulary that we all kind of know each other's motions. And there's a lot of unspoken communication as you work on a piece. It's hot, where it's fluid, where things happen in split seconds. Glass blowing on a large scale, it just takes a lot of strength just to handle the weight and the mass of it, not to mention the heat of it. When I'm making my large objects, when they get big, towards the end, the object might be this big, but it's 1,500 degrees and it is radiating heat everywhere, and just standing in front of it can be an intense, exhilarating experience. It is exhilarating, but it's an intense experience in a almost frightening sense if you're not used to it. Glass blowing is extremely technical craft. It takes years, thousands, tens of thousands of hours at the furnace to build up the technical skill to make objects to the degree of expertise that you want. It's my sensibility about color. I try to combine color in ways that are emotive, that have a contemporary and modern sensibility, but nonetheless can have a really strong emotional resonance, and that really capture the fluidity and movement, the joy of the glass blowing process. I'm first and foremost, I love glass blowing. I love the action of it, the movement of the material, and in all of my work, I'm really striving to capture that in a final piece. One of the core techniques that I use to shape the color fields in my piece is a technique called the Swedish overlay. It's a glass-blowing term. It's a way to create a color veil. I'll have one pipe that's my base pipe, where I have a solid mass of clear glass, and another pipe that's a blowpipe with a hollow bubble of colored glass. And I'll join them together. I'll get the molten bubble of glass hot, and I'll stick it to the core clear, solid mass. Is a bubble with a little opening at the end that I'll start opening it up, almost as if it's a cup or a drinking glass stuck on the end of my solid clear mass. And I will progressively get that bubble of glass hot, and I will start rolling it over my clear solid mass. The action is kind of like taking a sock and rolling it over your foot. I'm taking the bubble of glass and I'm flipping it inside out and rolling it over the solid mass of glass. It's an advanced technique and a difficult technique. In the end, I get a chance to permutate and push this colored bubble of glass over. I can gather more glass, I can do that again and build up veil over veil over veil, and then start combining them with other pipes and other solid masses of color that I've done the same process to. When I take the piece into the cold shop, sometimes I am responding to what the glass did in the kiln.
Cold working is slow, it's methodical. It's very similar to metal finishing or woodworking.
And all it takes is a little tweak. Maybe cutting an inch here, cutting an inch there, tweaking the axis just a few degrees in one orientation, maybe changing the axis so a piece that was vertical now becomes horizontal. And that is the editing process in the cold shop, where you take a piece and you decide, how should I present this? And you make some really important decisions. All right, I think I'm done with this for now. Do you want more? When I blow that first initial bubble, that'll be a color field, I have to guess at the density of the color I'm using, how much color to use so that the blown bubble of glass looks just so, knowing that when I manipulate it over the next 4 hours at the furnace, it will dilute, knowing that when I weeks later, put it into a kiln, but what is it going to look like 3 steps in the future when it becomes this much larger piece? I do think my work has an emotional impact. It's abstract. What my work is about, the ability of color to create emotional resonance. And when my work is successful, I hope that it allows the viewer to have their own associations, their own abstract connections to the colors and forms that create feelings, movements, and emotions. Cannot make advanced glass without a team, without 1, 2, 3 more skilled assistants working with you. I think it's an extremely exciting field. I love that urban glass where I get to participate in an open, collaborative environment for glassmaking. And I get to see so many of my artists, friends who have worked with me and helped me make my work, they're now thriving as their own independent artists. And that is the way of glass. That is how the field advances, and it is really exciting to see. It is the way of glass.